So since we have this, we have done the slicing of this part and everything, it's time now to test for the cut, because the good news is that with half of the fuselage, it's enough for me to do a kind of mirror of this. And if I can squeeze it on, let's say, half the plate, then I'm good to go in order to see if I can print the two halves, and then after that see what's happening with that. So I've exported it as usual using a clone, and then checking for the dimensions, for the angular dimensions to be one. In order to do this, because you can see now, if I do the prepare, you can see that now I do not have any more problems. It's pretty intense, but okay, it should be okay nevertheless, but it's pretty close here. Yeah, so I still have some problems there, okay. But what I've done is that I have smoothened a little bit this portion and widened a little bit, I would say, the fuselage thickness, in order to see if that could print. And now I have that. As you can see also, the support structure is pretty simple. So this is just all the rims, and then a little bit in the middle in order to maintain the, I would say, the thing. But yes, basically that's it. Then after that, in Lychee, you are kind of mirroring it, and in fact I can show you what that gives. That gives it. So that's a pretty busy plate in a way. As you can see here, I didn't put any support because normally everything is fine. And then I have added two holders here and a very simple nose section in order to have the overall shape and see what it is really. So when you go for the print time estimate, it says 10 hours here. I will see if that's true. And then after that, I'm ready to run. I'm ready to go. So let's do it. It's always a little bit emotional to have the first print of your own design. So you never know what can happen or everything like that. For this, it seems that it's not too bad. That's roughly correspond to the shape of the Payen 22. Okay, so as I said, that's the first print. So that's something that you can see here. The problem that I faced is that, in fact, when removing that from the plate, in fact, all those supports kind of broke off, which means that, in fact, this was not maintained into shape during drying and after that during curing. So I made a very small attempt in order to control, I would say, the fact that this would be at the correct position, but of course that's not exactly the thing. Second thing is that you can see that those wings are, I mean, at 48 scale, are very thin. There is absolutely no way that I have that as an extra part here. So that means that I will need to have the wings in one go. Um, I mean, imagine also at 72 scale, what do this mean? Even for this, I'm not sure that for the big wing I will keep them. So, which means that if I want, so in fact from there I have two options. Either I still do kind of carving in, I would say, the wings, or I let them plain, because as you can see, I mean, they are pretty good. Um, if I still want to carve them, so that means that instead of having a kind of hole inside going to the end of the wing, I will have to cut a kind of circle or part here that of course that will be filled with resin with any kind of putty after that, in order to let the resin go out of the wing. In fact, there has been some resins that were left in this section, um, and so that's also why it was not really clean in a way. The last comment is that you can see here from the surface aspect and everything like that, that my cleaning wash should be cleaned. Okay, so I should replace in fact the wash that I'm using. You can see also that the tail here is kind of pretty thin. So that's what I wanted to tell you here. For this, I was really lazy, and I used the automated support just in order to see where we would go. So that's why the support structure is kind of pretty strange. And finally, I will show you, in real life, what does those little holders do. Okay, I will unveil those parts, I would say, from the supports, and we'll see how we go from there. So after a little bit of cleaning, I got these things here. Okay. First of all, it's clear that I forgot tolerance in my little holders here because they do not fit. So especially in the width. So I will have to check around that. Doing the cleaning also, as you can see here, it's clear that the resin was kept in that portion of the wing here at the inside. In fact, if you remember, I had a little reinforcement that allowed me to do very, I would say, lazily the fusions, because if not, the carving out of the wing was not working. And in fact, that means that, in fact, this is a little triangle that is going into that direction, and there is a pocket of resin here that was kept. And so, of course, that didn't fly. I was a little bit skeptical about the fact that there is this big portion here, which is pretty wide, and I was a little bit skeptical about the fact that I would say the two halves would be joining together in a way without leaving a too wide seam line on everything. It seems that that can fly, so that's in fact the good news in a way. And then of course one of the problematic area will be this window here, the underneath window. So this is the half that was not really well kept. So in fact this is not really a problem, it seems. This one is a little bit better, but nevertheless you can see that at the end, the corner here, we need to make sure that I have enough supports to keep that in place, or to put some kind of what would I say, some kind of reinforcement or strengthener is inside, I would say, the thing, knowing that in any case there will be the cockpit floor, that will hold things up also, in a way, but that's going to be once the pieces are cured and everything. So well, again, it's not too bad. I will use this Flexi CA resin to show you a little bit, I would say, the overall shape of everything. So after putting those three parts together, this is what I got. To tell you the truth, I think that this Flexi CA, resin, is going pretty well, because that's give you a little bit of time in order to position the things, knowing that my little orders were not here in order to make sure that the parts would be at the correct place. So I had to reposition a little bit the thing. So it gives you a little bit of time to position things, and the bond is pretty strong. I tested that, by putting all together this. You remember there was a little hole in between the two halves here, and in fact it worked. It maintains, I would say, the thing pretty nice. And so yeah, that's it. That's the first run. The fact is that when you are modeling things, the holders are a little bit, the proof. That means that it's always a little bit difficult to have an idea about what's the overall dimensions of things, when there's going to be printed on everything. So, uh, in fact, I was surprised by the size of this Payen. Um, and this is why I had these wing tips here that were left cut and everything like that, because I thought that it was, because of the size and everything, we should do that. So, I mean, just for fun, I will bring you here a Spitfire Mark 8, same scale. Okay, okay. Now you can see why I was surprised. I would say by the size of this thing. It's small. It's really small, and yeah, and when you are doing your models, everything look the same and everything. But when you print it after that, and you compare it with, kind of regular guys. I mean, a Spitfire is not a big plane, okay, by any means. And yeah, this is it. So this is why, in fact, I will go on. So now, next phase is to make sure that I do not have this pocket of resins near the wing roots. Okay, that's of course a big problem. To correct my holders mechanics, of course, and whatever, and then to decide if this thing here is a problem of support or a problem of design, and if we need to, I would say, change the design near that window. In any case, I had to think it a little bit over, because when you have windows like that, it's always a little bit a problem about uh, how will you put, I would say, the clear part. You need a little bit of guide on anything like that. So I will have to think that a little bit. And of course, the cockpit base and everything like that will be here in order to hold things together. But overall, we have the good shape. Yeah, I think that's now we have a little bit of a straight line to add and everything, but seems to be pretty good. See you then. You always need to test your design. And yes, it's true that for the holders, I made a mistake. I didn't do the correct, I would say, the correct extrude in a way. So here that's the middle, here that's the front. So the front, it's the lang ref was of course a mistake. So it is something like that. Okay. And the same thing for the rear. Okay. So next time my orders will be okay and I will be able to put them in place. So that's cool. Okay, so this is the version 2, just out of the press, as we say. I wanted to deal with the problems that we've seen with the version 1. They were basically two design problems. The first one is that there were a kind of deformation here. And the second one is that, remember, I had no
in fact, no real output for the resin. So that means that the resin was trapped a little bit in the wings. And so I had to deal with both of them. So as you can see here, that's the Mark II, okay, of the design. I went a little bit further because I didn't want to print like zillions of these Payen. So I did the modifications that or the evolutions that I wanted to do, and then I went to print it. So this is why you see more things than simply the two structural problems that I just mentioned to you now. So in order to deal with that structural stuff here, what I've done is that I have added one strengthener here that is that should be, and as you can see, that is printed. But of course, I will remove it, okay, after curing, which is exactly right now, okay. And in fact, the fact that I will remove it makes the fact that in fact, whoops, it is, I would say, in the correct shape one way or another. I have added also some little strengtheners here because you know that inside the fuselage there were some kind of wood ribs in the way, so I tried to see if I could do that, but okay, that's not really used in a way. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that the wings were really too narrow. And in fact, I could not really have any way to put the wing tips after printing. So in fact, I included the wing tips in the model itself. And then I have added some kind of holes here. It's a little bit difficult for you to see, but those holes are really, I would say, in the wings, allowing the resin to escape. Of course, I will have to, I would say, fill those holes when doing the final model. But that's every modeler knows how to do those kind of things. So that's the two things that I wanted to show you. This is the Mark II. I will you know, clean it up a little bit and do a dry fit in order to see if I'm solving all the problems. Here is the first version, as you can see. So the wing tips that was really too narrow, especially in those wings here, in order to get there. And also here, I had a lot of deformation, so I was not really able to do anything with that. So yeah, I think that's it. I will try to do a little bit of cleanup and to do a dry fit, and then I will come back to you. I thought it would be fun to, I would say, record the first building. So let's do it. Okay. I mean, some of the parts were broken because I was not really aware about, you know, what were the things that were really fragile in a way, where that's something that you are learning when you are doing your first models. And so let's do it. Okay, so I'm using, as I say, Flexi 5K CA resin from VMS. Okay, and I think that I like this super glue because it's pretty fast, but on the other hand, it allows you to position the things. So here, for example, I'm using the little recess that I've done in my models in order to make sure that I can do things like that. Okay, I will cut that off. Okay, very easily. I will scrap it a little bit, not too much. I mean, this is just a first test, so I mean, that's just you know, to see if somehow everything fits. In fact, that's not even very well cleaned or anything like that, but okay, I will try to see if I can be a little bit more in the camera. Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay. As you can see, that's pretty easy. I will reinforce that part here that has been somehow cut. Oops, 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 oops. Okay, so now let's go for this. So I will use, you know, the guides that I've done. Okay, because that's why they're here. In any case, okay, so let's go for it. So far, so good. Except that I forgot that I have the little ribs to put, so that's a little bit a problem in a way. So I will have to put the ribs pretty soon. So my guess is that this is the one from the left hand side. Whoops. Okay. Okay, again, I'm not trying to go for the real thing. It's just in order to check that everything can be done in a way. So I will use, I will be a little bit sloppy here. Sorry for that. Not going too bad. Okay, for now. I forgot to print the things that are used in order to align the two halves, of course. So, but that's okay. So I have to be a little bit careful about the fact that I should put this thing here. In fact, the good news is that the shape of the oops, the shape of this thing here with the little angle that you see allows um, to be used as a okay. So that's the second part that is coming here. Okay, cool. Of course, in the real thing, I will have to fill up this gap here, but again, that's not really the real thing. So now the big test. Again, not too bad, I think. So okay, I will glue it and come back to you when I'm finished here, because that's a little bit more complex. Okay, so I've glued together the two halves. Yes, there is a little problem here, is that it's not possible to, so that to, I would say, really stick them together in a way. That's because of the strengthener inside. There is a kind of 0.1 millimeter that is missing. I will show you that on the model. I don't understand why. But nevertheless, the two halves, besides that, they are coming together pretty well. As you can see, there is much less deformation here. And then I've put, you know, the engine cover plus the front. So all that is going pretty well. So the next is to test, I would say, the landing gear. So in fact, I have two landing gears in a way. I have the version on the ground and the version on the in flight, which is a little bit longer because it's not compressed. So in fact, I will see if I still have a little bit of glue. I will see how to put that together here, here, and here. And then I will take the version on the ground and stick it. I've decided not to add any internal wire or something like that, a strengthener, and to use, I would say, the holes in a way, in order to make sure that everything's falling into place. Because it's not big. If I want, you know, I would say the struts here to be at scale, then I do not have any room for anything such as an internal wire or something like that. So in fact, this is why I've done it this way. Now I have to do the second way. As you can see, this super glue for resin is kind of efficient in a way. Oops, sorry. Sloppy. Okay. Okay, as you can see, the first one I was very careful, the second one a little bit less, and that hit it back. Okay, I'll try to see if I can add a little bit of light. Well, you know, okay. Frankly, yes. In fact, I will have to be a little bit careful. They are not completely aligned, so my guess is that I will have to make the top a little bit more in the hole to be a little bit deeper in order to have a better way to align, because here that's not aligned. Okay. But anyway, that's why I'm doing this kind of first, you know, test. And then I will need perhaps another round of glue. Sorry for that. So that's the glue I'm using, resin, pretty efficient. I just want to have a little bit here. Okay, very easy. And in fact, so I've lost one, but I've got the other one, which is good. And so, which is this kind of profile here. So it's not too bad. This profile here, which is a kind of a feature, I would say, well-known feature about the Payen. So I need to have it. Okay. See, it's not too bad, huh? Then the second wheel. I've lost the second little profile for the wheel, so I'm sorry. Okay, but yeah, it begins to look like a Payen, so of course I will deal with the canopy a little bit later, but that's okay. Then I have the tail wheel. So the tail wheel normally should fit. Okay, should fit. Not too bad. And inside the tail wheel, I have the no inside the order of the wheel of the tail wheel, I have the wheel. Okay, so I've made it separate in order to make sure that I can paint it, but really, for example, at 72 scale, that will not fly. But nevertheless, at 48 scale, it's here. Okay, not too bad. Then I have the so as you've seen, I would say the wing have been broken here. Okay, but nevertheless, I will put it. I mean, again, the idea is that this is a test, so this is why you are making tests. One of the very important things when you are doing tests like that is to see what are the parts that are really fragile, as I said. And so I know that here, for example, that means that ooh, a big chunk here. That's not good. Here I know that the end of the wings are kind of a little bit fragile. Nevertheless, it's not too bad. Okay, let's put it. I need fresh glue. I'm ready for this. Like for example, this is fragile also. Okay, I mean that's very okay. So something like this. Then I can put the front wing aileron. Let's go for the other one. Yeah, I broke I broke one of the thing. I mean, that's pretty thin, okay? And so now the propeller and the blades, and that should be it. So normally propeller should go very easily because I have done an inside things that does not allow you to make any mistake about the angle on the position. It's rotating. Well, yeah, depends if you are looking in front or or not. But for me, I think it's rotating counterclockwise, but I don't know. Okay. That's here, something like that. Oops. So, what did I say about the fact that you cannot make any mistake? Of course you can. You can always mistakes. Not about the angle, but whoops. What did I do? No, this is good. As you can see, this super glue special resin is kind of forgiving in a way. So that's pretty interesting. Of course, normally I should do that a little bit more seriously, but that's again, that's just in order to see if everything goes well on the whatever. So yeah, the last test about the propeller. Look at that. Hey, isn't that a good design or what? That's the first time that I put all those parts together, and when I look at the result, it's not too bad. Okay, that's the idea. So that's it. I think it's a Payen which is almost complete in a way. As you can see, everything fits together. It's yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Okay. So next is the test of the canopy. And I think that I said at the beginning that we would realize a full plane in 3 months. Well, I'm not too far, of course. The diorama took me a little bit longer than expected, but nevertheless, if you look, for example, even the inside, with can you look at it? Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, with the dials and everything is there, and the window is good. Yeah, it's not too bad. The little, exhausts, which are of course six. The first one is a kind of tricky because it's really, I would say, I would say the front part of the engine itself. The little strengthener here. I mean, this has gone. this has dropped. Okay, so I have it somewhere. Too bad. But nevertheless, that's it. A 48 scale Payen 22 in less than 3 months.